Structures are built around the country to show an identity of a state. The structure for Michigan is the Mackinac Bridge that has been around for 60 years. Bob Sweeney, Chief Executive Officer of the Mackinac Bridge, discusses how he started his journey to work on this miraculous bridge.
I grew up in St. Ignace, so, right at the head of the Mackinac Bridge, but it was really not on my radar screen. When I went off to college, I was looking, my first job, I was in airport design in Chicago. Really liked that area, but the opportunity to come back to Michigan was an appealing one to me.
Bob's connection with Michigan is very strong, which persuaded him to come back from Chicago.
As chance would happen, I'm a civil engineer from Michigan State University. Took a variety of jobs throughout the state, and my first job was in Chicago. Came back to the state of Michigan. I worked for the state of Michigan in Michigan Department of Transportation. Before I took this position at the Mackinac Bridge, I was engineer in charge of the Cadillac Transportation Service Center.
When taking the job to work on the bridge, he is in charge of maintaining the bridge and keeping it preserved for future years.
A bridge, as it ages, different components of the bridge will reach the end of their service life. So that the average service life for a bridge deck on a steel bridge is 40 years, and we're going to be 60 years old. So the Mackinac Bridge has certainly exceeded that industry average by quite a bit. But in order to achieve that, we had crews out there doing a lot of preservation work on the deck, and I mentioned some of those steel beam repairs that also benefit. The deck is a beneficiary of that also, and there's portions of those steel beams that are considered part of the deck. So when they're in there repairing those, they're just extending the service life of those beams.
Since the Mackinac Bridge is turning 60 years old, there will be a new project done to the bridge.
And we do have a major preservation project scheduled for 2024, and that's what will replace the suspension portion of the deck on the Mackinac Bridge. And that's a large project. It's going to probably spread out over 3 years by the time we get it all completed. And that project is $94 million in future dollars. So when we get to the project, that's how much we're going to spend.
Another project will be done a few years after this project that will be a bit more significant.
And then our approach spans on either side of the suspended portion will be pushed out to the 2030s. I think we start in 2031, and that'll be a large project, somewhere north of $140 million for that project.
With the bridge turning 60 this year, the annual Mackinac Bridge Walk happened, and the story for the existence of the walk is interesting.
This year was our 60th annual Bridge Walk. The first Bridge Walk occurred on June 25th of 1958. Then my predecessor, Larry Rubin, looked at our traffic patterns and traffic patterns across the state boats prior to the bridge being built, and found that there was a significant drop-off in tourist traffic in about mid-August. So the following year, he talked to the board into establishing the Bridge Walk as an annual event and moving it to Labor Day to try to extend the tourist season.
Thousands of people across the country come out to walk this amazing structure.
The surrounding population of the bridge, so if you consider the two communities on either side of the bridge in Mackinac Island, there's less than 5,000 people that live in this community out surrounding the bridge. And every year we get anywhere from 30 to 60,000 people walking the bridge. So those people are coming from all corners of the state, and even people from out of state.
The Mackinac Bridge is important to the workers and to the people of Michigan.
I'll use the maintenance guys for an example. They're out there working on the bridge, and they typically make a career out of it. So they start here in their early 20s, and so they know when they do a beam repair, they're going to do that right the first time and give it the best possible product they can. So 10 years later or 20 years later, when they're out there, that beam repair is lasting way longer than industry standards, and the type of work that they do lasts for a long time. They take a lot of pride in it because they want to do the work once and they want to do it done right. And so that's a takeaway, that there's a lot of pride in this bridge. Almost everybody in the community as well, they call it their bridge. So this will always be my bridge.